Most fighters aim to win, some aim to dominate. But there's one man who never leaves it in the judge's hands. No scorecards, no controversy. Because every opponent he's faced didn't make it to the end. Think about that. In modern boxing, where elite fighters go 12 rounds all the time, one man has knocked out everyone, not prospects, not journeymen, world champions. Artur Beterbiev was born in 1985 in Khasavyurt, Dagestan, a place where fighting isn't entertainment, it's survival. No flashy gyms, no nice equipment, just discipline and hard work. While others focused on speed or style, Beterbiev built something much more dangerous. From early on, Beterbiev developed a style that wasn't flashy. Relentless pressure, great fundamentals, and heavy hands, Beterbiev built something much more dangerous. Most people think Beterbiev is just a puncher, and that's the first mistake. Before the knockouts came the foundation. Artur was an elite amateur and a two-time Olympian, sharing the ring with fighters like Alexander Usyk, and even beating him. That didn't just happen by accident. He understands distance, timing, and positioning. So when he turned pro in 2013 and added power to that skill set, it created a problem the division wasn't ready for. Artur's professional debut was on June 8, 2013 in Montreal. Beterbiev faced Christian Cruz, a relatively inexperienced fighter brought in as a test of composure rather than danger. Still, for a debut, Cruz represented the unknown, something every prospect must navigate. From the opening bell, Beterbiev fought like anything but a debutant. There was no feeling out process, no hesitation. He immediately took center ring, applying steady pressure behind a high guard and compact stance. His punches weren't wild or rushed. They were measured, heavy, and deliberate. Within the first minute, it became clear Cruz was reacting to the power of Beterbiev. Beterbiev began breaking him down with short hooks and straight shots, targeting both head and body. What stood out wasn't just the power, but the efficiency. Every punch had purpose, and as the round progressed, Cruz struggled to create space. Beterbiev cut off the ring calmly, never overcommitting and forcing exchanges on his terms. Then came the breakthrough. A clean, heavy combination, delivered with precision rather than speed that rocked Cruz. Sensing the moment, Beterbiev didn't rush wildly. He stepped in and finished with composed aggression. The referee stepped in to stop the fight. At first, people didn't notice. Another prospect, another knockout. Then something strange started happening. The level of competition increased, but the results didn't change. Still knockouts, still dominance. No close fights, no lucky wins, just a pattern. If you fight Beterbiev, you don't hear the final bell. Artur Beterbiev's first world title shot came on November 11, 2017, at the Save Mart Center in Fresno, California. The opponent was Germany's tough and durable Enrico Curling, a technically sound southpaw who had earned his shot through the IBF rankings. This wasn't just another fight. It was for the vacant IBF Light Heavyweight Championship, a belt that had been stripped from Andre Ward after his retirement. For Beterbiev, already feared for his terrifying knockout ratio, this was his moment to prove he could dominate at the elite level. From the opening bell, Beterbiev imposed his identity. Relentless pressure, heavy hands, and a calm, almost mechanical approach to destruction. Curling tried to establish distance with his jab and footwork, circling to his right to avoid Beterbiev's crushing right hand. But Beterbiev doesn't rush. He hunts. During the early rounds, Beterbiev stalked patiently, cutting off the ring instead of chasing. He targeted the body early, thudding shots into Curling's ribs and arms. Rounds 4 to 6. The pressure intensified. Beterbiev began landing clean combinations, short hooks and straight rights that snapped Culling's head back. You could see the German fighter's confidence eroding as he was forced more and more onto the ropes. Rounds 7 to 11. This is where Beterbiev's brutality became undeniable. He systematically broke Culling down, mixing body and head shots with surgical precision. Culling showed heart and kept getting up, kept trying, but he was being overwhelmed. By the 12th round, the end felt inevitable. Beterbiev unleashed a barrage. Power shots from both hands, each one landing with sickening force. Culling crumpled under the assault, and the referee stepped in to stop it. Artur Beterbiev wins by TKO and becomes the IBF light heavyweight champion. Shortly after that fight, Beterbiev's first title defense came on October 6, 2018, at the Wintrust Arena in Chicago against Britain's heavy-handed challenger Callum Johnson. This fight was different. For the first time as a pro, Beterbiev faced real adversity. Beterbiev came out aggressively as expected, pushing Johnson back and landing hard shots. It looked like a typical Beterbiev fight. Dominance early, but in round 2, everything changed. Johnson landed a perfectly timed left hook that dropped Beterbiev, the first knockdown of his professional career. The arena erupted. For a moment, the aura of invincibility cracked. But Beterbiev got up and smiled. Instead of being cautious, he doubled down. He walked Johnson down with even more intensity, landing brutal shots to the body and head. And in round 4, the end came violently. Beterbiev landed a crushing right hand, followed by a barrage that sent Johnson to the canvas. Johnson beat the count, but he was badly hurt. Moments later, another flurry forced the referee to stop the fight. Beterbiev wins by TKO in round 4. This fight proved something critical. He wasn't just a destroyer. He could survive and come back even more dangerous. On October 18, 2019, at the Liacouras Center in Philadelphia, Beterbiev faced his toughest test yet. Undefeated WBC champion, Oleksandr Gvozdyk. This was a unification bout, IBF versus WBC, and a clash of styles. Beterbiev's pressure versus Gvozdyk's elite boxing and movement. From the opening bell, Gvozdyk boxed beautifully. He used his jab, lateral movement, and combinations to outpoint Beterbiev. Many observers had him ahead early. By the middle rounds, Beterbiev began adjusting. He cut off the ring more effectively and invested heavily in body shots. The pace started to wear Gvozdyk down. During the late rounds, momentum shifted. Beterbiev's punches had a visible effect. Gvozdyk slowed, his output dropped, and he began absorbing more punishment. And in round 10, Beterbiev unleashed a relentless attack. Gvozdyk went down, got up, went down again, and again. After the third knockdown of the round, the referee stopped the fight and Artur became unified. IBF and WBC light heavyweight champion. Then, everything went quiet. The world shut down due to COVID, and boxing stalled for nearly a year and a half. Beterbiev disappeared from the spotlight. And when he returned in March 2021, it wasn't just about defending his titles. It was about reminding everyone who he was. His opponent was Adam Danes, a tough, durable German fighter with nothing to lose. From the opening bell, Beterbiev looked slightly rusty. His timing wasn't perfect. Danes had moments early, landing counters, moving laterally, even stealing rounds. But the difference was clear. Every punch Beterbiev threw had consequence. By the middle rounds, the pressure began to mount. The body shots slowed Danes. The ring started to shrink, and then came the 10th round. A crushing left hand dropped Danes. He got up, brave, but compromised. Moments later, Beterbiev unleashed a final barrage, forcing the referee to step in. Beterbiev wins by TKO. Even after a long layoff, one thing hadn't changed: his 100% knockout ratio. Later that same year, in December 2021, in Montreal, Canada, Beterbiev faced Marcus Brown, an undefeated slick southpaw and former Olympian. This was supposed to be a real stylistic challenge, and early on, it was chaos. Heads clashed. Hard. Blood poured down Beterbiev's forehead, a deep cut that was very dangerous, the kind that ends fights. But the doctors checked it. The fight continued, and that's when things changed. Beterbiev became something else. He stopped boxing and started hunting. Body shots, relentless, punishing. Brown tried to move, but every escape came with a cost. By the middle rounds, his movement slowed. His defense cracked. Then, in the 9th round, a brutal body shot folded Brown. He went down in pain. He beat the count. But it didn't matter. Moments later, another assault forced the stoppage. Beterbiev wins by another knockout. Next up was a unification fight in June 2022 in New York City against a dangerous puncher in Joe Smith Jr., the WBO champion and a man known for shocking upsets. This was supposed to be a war, but it wasn't. It was destruction. From the opening bell, Beterbiev walked forward with zero hesitation. Smith tried to meet him with power, a fatal mistake. Within minutes, Smith was dropped, then dropped again and again. Each knockdown more decisive than the last, Beterbiev's punches weren't just landing, they were overwhelming. Smith had no answers, no time to adjust, and by the second round, it was over. Beterbiev wins by TKO. Beterbiev now have 3 belts: WBC, IBF, and WBO. And still, every fight ending the same way. No judges needed. January 2023, London, England. This one felt different. Anthony Yarde wasn't just another challenger. He had power, confidence, and experience against elite competition. But more importantly, he came to fight. From round 1, it was clear. This would not be easy. Yarde stood his ground and traded with Artur. He landed clean, powerful shots that few fighters had ever landed on Beterbiev. For the first time in years, Beterbiev was being pushed back. Rounds 3, 4, 5. They both had brutal exchanges. Yarde targeted the body. He timed counters, and at moments, Beterbiev looked human. The crowd erupted. This wasn't a one-sided beatdown. This was a fight. But Beterbiev doesn't fade. He builds, and by the second half, the tide began to shift. Yarde slowed, just slightly. His punches lost a bit of snap, and Beterbiev noticed. Beterbiev increased the pressure, tightened the distance, and doubled his punches. Then came round 8. A perfectly timed right hand that shook Yarde. Moments later, a devastating combination sent him crashing to the canvas. Yarde got up, heart, courage, defiance, but his legs betrayed him. The referee stepped in, and Beterbiev wins by TKO in round 8. Next up was one of the biggest fights in boxing history. For years, the boxing world watched 2 unstoppable forces rise on a collision course. 2 champions, 2 masters, 2 undefeated warriors. On one side, Artur Beterbiev, the destroyer. A perfect knockout ratio, raw power, relentless pressure. On the other, Dmitry Bivol, the technician. Calm, calculated, untouchable. And when they finally met, it wasn't just a fight, it was history. For the first time in years, the light heavyweight division stood on the edge of total clarity. Every major belt on the line, every ounce of pride at stake. This wasn't just about winning. This was about becoming undisputed. Beterbiev carved his path through the division with devastation. Every opponent stopped. Every fight ended before the final bell. He wasn't just winning, he was breaking fighters. Meanwhile, Bivol was putting on clinics. From outclassing champions to dismantling elite challengers, his style was a puzzle no one could solve. Precision over power. Intelligence over chaos. Fans debated endlessly. Could Bivol's skill neutralize Beterbiev's power? Or would Beterbiev's pressure break through Bivol's perfect defense? And there was only one way to find out. The night arrived, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The arena electric. Two undefeated champions stood face to face, knowing only one would leave with everything. From the opening round, the contrast was clear. Bivol moved like a chess grandmaster, sharp jabs, perfect angles, controlling distance. He dictated the pace early, frustrating Beterbiev and keeping the fight exactly where he wanted it. But Beterbiev doesn't chase, he hunts. Round by round, he closed the gap, cutting off the ring, pressuring, and landing heavier shots. You could feel the momentum shifting, not dramatically, but steadily. By the middle rounds, it became a battle of wills. Bivol stayed disciplined, landing clean combinations and slipping punches with surgical precision. But Beterbiev's power. Every shot carried danger. Every exchange mattered. As the championship rounds approached, the tension reached its peak. Bivol's movement slowed down. Beterbiev's pressure intensified. The crowd could feel it. This was no longer just skill versus power. It was heart versus heart. In the closing rounds, both men dug deep. Bivol fought with composure, sticking to his game plan, landing crisp combinations. Beterbiev pushed forward relentlessly, searching for that one moment that never came. After 12 unforgettable rounds, it went to the judges. A rare moment for Beterbiev, the first of his career. A test of endurance, not just destruction. The scores were read. Artur Beterbiev won the fight. In one of the biggest fights in boxing history, Beterbiev proved that discipline, precision, and composure could overcome even one of the most skillful fighter in the sport. He didn't just win. He became undisputed champion. But greatness recognizes greatness. Beterbiev showed the heart of a warrior. Bivol showed the mind of a master. And together, they delivered a fight the world will never forget. Two legends, one night, one undisputed king. And if this fight proved anything, it's that when the best face the best, boxing becomes something truly special. Thanks for watching.